Day trading recap for Wednesday, August 7th, 2019. It's almost 2 o'clock. My day's done. Made 2 trades today. One was a losing trade and one was a winning trade. And so if you're a new day trader, and you've probably heard this before, the 2-to-1 rule, basically you want to risk for every cent that you're risking in a trade, you want to target 2-to-1. So basically, if you put a stop, or you say you'll get out if a stock moves against you 10 cents, you want the stock to go up 20 cents. And if you follow that rule, then you can be wrong 50% of the time and still make money. And that's what happened today. I had 2 trades, and one of them was a losing trade, and one of them was a winning trade. And this was a trade Lumber Liquidators showed up because of in my pre-market scan, because it gapped down. You could see here it gapped down today. So I was watching it early on to see if it would make a move back up or continue its fall. And it's got the uptick rule, so shorting it might have been kind of difficult. But yeah, it actually, I put a little marker here because it had dropped early in the day. It had a little indecision doji for the first 5 minutes. Then it dropped. Then it looked like it was bouncing, and it came back to the 8 EMA. It looked like it was kind of holding it here. So I put a little marker here thinking, maybe I get in here at 714. Put my stop right below this flag action here. Also below 7, because it had gained 7. That's another reason why I was into it. Maybe it was, once it gained 7, it was going to kind of get back up to yesterday's close here at around 820. So I put a marker there. It never got into it. And you could see it kind of moved sideways a little bit down, but never really dropped. And then it kind of got up to as high as 754. So it went up 40 cents from where I was thinking of getting in. I just couldn't pull the trigger on Lumber Liquidators, which was a shame because it would have been a nice trade as well. My first trade of the day was a losing trade, and I'll show you that one. But right now it looks like it's turning out to be a winner if I had just held on or made my stop a little bigger. Avid Technology. So this one, I think this one had earnings yesterday. Yeah, I think it had earnings yesterday before the pre-market, in the pre-market, I think. And if you look at the daily chart here, daily candles, yeah, so yesterday it dropped a lot on earnings, went right through that 200 moving average, that green line. All day long it was dropping, and would have made a nice short if you got in it yesterday. So I was watching it today because I thought maybe it might have a little bit of a bounce. And what happened was it had a big down candle, then it recovered and started moving up. And I saw the cross of the 8 and the 20. I said, oh, okay, so maybe it's going back. Maybe it's going to try and make a move back to yesterday's opening, or at least cover some of that ground. At least maybe make its way back up to the 200 moving average, which is around 680 something. But as soon as I got in, it dropped. Now I'm going to open up this chart. This is also another 5-minute chart that I use. You can see here it was above VWAP, and I got in. I don't have my markers on here, so let me put those in there. So I got in here, and I got out as soon as it started dropping a lot, this big red candle. But I really should have waited to see if it closed below the VWAP, volume weighted average price, which is the absolute must. If you're going to have one moving average for day trading, have this one, because it's absolute must. And I didn't. I waited, and it bounced right. Look at that! It bounced right off the VWAP and went right back up again. And then it kind of moved sideways. But now it looks like it might be starting to move towards my target area. Was around 664, and it looks like it might start making a move up there. But either way, it's above where I got in at 6. Where did I get in at? 628, and right now it's at 645. So even right now, I could have just, if I had held on long enough, I could have gotten out above where I got in and made a little money. But I didn't. So that's what happens sometimes. If you set your stop too tight, you end up getting squeezed a little bit, and then something like this happens. You can see these candles it's not clean because it's like a little, I think it's just the volume on this is not tremendously large. I think it's usually a smaller volume stock. It's like normally less than 500,000. And yesterday was over a few million, I think, but today it's still not even over a million yet. So it's a little kind of choppy. But the candles, even for that kind of chop, it's still kind of moving tightly and staying above these resistance levels and moving up now, so who knows. But so that was unfortunate. I should have made my stop longer. And that's another thing, record all your data when you're day trading. Make sure you keep track of everything, because I like to keep track of when my stops are too tight. So I consider anything where if it hits my stop and I get out and it doesn't move any more than 5 to 10 cents below that stop, basically, and then continues back up, basically like bouncing off my stop, I track those, and then after a month I'll look at how many there were and what the situation was in terms of the stock and what I did, and I can from that I can gauge whether or not I've been setting my stops too tight to begin with, and that tells me that I need to either reevaluate how I set my stops or how big of a position I take, that kind of a thing. But here it was clear that it was basically this VWAP is where I really should have set it, right below here, and I didn't. I got too nervous. I thought it was going to blow through that, but I should have just waited. I mean, it would have only been a few more cents too, so it wasn't even like I would have been hurting myself too much with a much bigger stop. It was just a little bit, but that ended up hurting me. So kind of bad management, really. Not a horrible. I kind of eyed this trade correctly. I just managed it poorly, really. But the trade that worked out for me was extended stay America. So this showed up because it had earnings today. It had earnings this morning, and like a lot of things lately, they've been dropping. So it dropped down from yesterday. Big topping tail yesterday. So I've been dropping a lot for the last week plus. And then it had a earnings this morning, and it dropped down. Not a really big drop altogether. For a $15 stock, it's not really a big drop, but it dropped from around 15 to about below 14. So I watched it, and you could see why I liked it. So on the VWAP, you could see it dropped below VWAP, then it regained it kind of early in the day, and then it broke the opening range right here, and then it started just moving kind of sideways up, though, like kind of almost like a little bit of a flag. I know it's not technically a flag when you look at it. If you look at the 15-minute candles, it sort of looks like a flag. Got a down candle, and then at 9:45 you have an up candle, and then it starts to move up off of that. But it was using the 8 EMA, and then the 8 crossed the 20 here. So I said, it's pretty tight. It's not all over the place. Let me get in, and when it crosses 14. And it crossed 14 and held it here, had a little dip, and held it. I said, all right, I'm getting in. So I got in at 14.04, and look at that. It went right up after I got in. Then it went sideways again, and then it started moving up. So it was above where I got in pretty much the entire time I was in. I was just waiting for it to make that big jump, make that move at some point, because when you look at this, I got in here at 14.04. I thought it can cover some ground here. That's why you like the gappers, or if you're new to day trading, gappers are kind of what you want to focus on, because you're more likely it's easier to spot something moving as a gapper, or it's more likely to move when it gaps because there's a lot of empty space to fill. There's not as much resistance is really the point. When you can have a stock like right here, if it opened right where it closed yesterday, if it wasn't an earnings play, it could just take off. Sometimes it just takes off, and there could be a reason, news, could just be a whole bunch of different things. But there's all this resistance here, so it's a little harder for it to do that, and it's harder to predict that. When you have a gapper, you know there's not as much resistance here, so there's room to move. Now look at it, it's at 1460. But anyway, so I got in at 1404, and I took all my shares out at 1445. So I had a 41 cent move, which is really great. That's made up for the loss I had earlier in the day. And look at this. This is a typical flag now. This big green candle, which is where I got out, and then it moved up. It was moving slightly up and to the right here, and it's just obviously to the right, moving slightly up, and now it's, oh boy, it's really above where I got out. Anyway, 41 cent was an amazing jump for me. That was I wasn't even expecting that much. I was hoping to get in the 30 area, 1438ish or something from where I got in 04, and I just held through my target area. I didn't exit right when my target was hit, which was like around 38, I think. I just held it until it got to 45, and then I said, you know what, this is moving kind of fast, and it's moving away from the ADMA, so I don't want it to come back quickly and hurt me. So I took out all my shares. So I don't know what it's going to do next. It could keep going up, it could drop, who knows? But I'm out, made my money, and I'm happy. So yeah, so extended stay. So really, I've been looking at a lot of gappers, and I think it was a no gap that was the other stock that I traded, the Avid. I can't remember. Yeah, I think Avid showed up on my no gap movers, because you could see it opened right near where it closed yesterday. But it was a stock that had earnings, like I showed you on this chart. It had earnings the other day, so it dropped a lot, and I thought it could move back to the 200 moving average. So now it's doing something wacky here. I don't know what that's all about. This is the one that saved me today. Was Extended Stay America. So it's been a good month so far. We're only 7 days in, and hopefully we'll have some more trades tomorrow to show you. So good luck trading. Any questions, leave them in the comments. If you want any of my scans, if you have trade ideas and you want these scans, just let me know. I think I built this one. I might have gotten from the Trade Ideas trading room, but these two I built myself, and they've been doing really well for me. So I can give you the link if you need them. All right, good luck trading. See you next time.